Okay, seems like I'm on the air here. What's good, guys? This is the Lone Advocate, and here to talk about the build up for WrestleMania and the potential for actually a very decent show. And before I get started, some of you who might know my voice, or those of you who don't, you may know me as the formerly known as Square One fan on YouTube. I changed my name to A Square One Fan because back in 2011 there was a YouTube reboot, and for some reason this site was being such a bitch, and I wasn't able to. YouTube wasn't for some reason didn't allow me to type in my password, or I was able to type in my password, but it kept rejecting it. So I had to create a new account. So I was a SQ1 fan for a few years, and right now, as of March 2015, I'm starting over, and my new name now is the Lone Advocate. I also have a Twitter, so if you like, you can follow me on Twitter at my name is Lone Adv MGL. It's in the description box down there, so appreciate it if you give me a follow. Now let's get started here. In my 23 years of watching professional wrestling, WWF, ECW, WCW, whatever, TNA, I have never, ever witnessed a build up to a promotion's biggest show of the year as felt so lethargic, atrocious, terrible, apathetic, you name it. I watched WCW, ECW, TNA, WWF, WWE, and this is not only like the worst build up for a WrestleMania ever for a time I've been watching wrestling, but this is by far, if not by far, then at least the biggest, the worst build up to any promotion's top show I have ever witnessed, I've been a part of in my 20 plus years of watching wrestling. It's been horrible, man. It sucks. There's nothing really, there's nothing to get excited over for this show, from my personal opinion. Now, I will say the show has potential to be good with the names involved and what they could do. But for so far, the build up to this show has been absolutely atrocious. It's been downright apathetic. It's like almost like the WWE doesn't care. But the problem is they should care, because more than anything else is like WrestleMania 32 next year is going to be in Jerry's World in Dallas, Texas. I'm sure Vince and the boys will want to fill up 100,000 people in that mug. You know what I'm saying? So you would think that the WWE would want to put its best foot forward or put on a good show and put on a good build to the show to get fans excited and ready to go for next year's WrestleMania, especially the casual fans. But I'm going to get to that in a second, like in a little while. Right now, I'm here to talk about the build up first. So the main event, or what is supposed to be the main event of the show, is Roman Reigns challenging Brock Lesnar for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Very, very disappointing how they handled it so far. Look, I know the hardcore IWC boys and girls, whatever out there, you're not going to like what I'm about to say. But the bottom line is Roman Reigns is the correct guy to be in the main event of WrestleMania 31. He is the right guy. He is the right challenger. He's been built up like a monster almost, but basically for ever since the Shield split up. He only has like one singles loss since he broke up, and it wasn't even clean. It was like actually, I'm sorry, he had two losses. I forgot about the one with Rollins recently, and he also had like that loss to the Big Show. But both of them weren't clean. They were like, he was like had interference basically, so they weren't clean. But as far as this matchup is concerned, on paper, at first I was very excited for this match. I didn't give a damn about what the Brian Nuthuggers thought or the Indie Marks thought. Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar, to me, was a badass main event. It still can be, but back then, when it first was like announced after the Rumble and that stare down, it was cool, man. It was a breath of fresh air to have two badass grown ass men fighting for the World Heavyweight Championship in the main event of the biggest show of the year. But man, the way they've handled this build, man, I mean, Paul Heyman is trying his best, but the way it's been handled, and you cannot put the blame on Roman Reigns. I'm sorry. I don't care if you think the guy's a great wrestler or not, great talker or not, whatever. It's not all on him. You cannot put the blame. If you actually think he is the biggest problem of this match, then you are a moron. I'm sorry. You're a moron. You're an idiot. You're an imbecile. You're a retard. I'm sorry. The problem mainly revolves around the heavyweight champion in Brock Lesnar. Now, here is a guy who the WWE had so much of a hard-on for, had him beat the streak, had him beat Taker for the end of the streak at last year's WrestleMania, had him squash Cena for like under 20 minutes to win the championship. And since then, he's been the champion. And he beat Cena and Rollins. He was still like an unstoppable force in that match at the Rumble. So I think they compensated for him like jobbing out to Cena in his first match back and jobbing out to Triple H and barely beating like that little fat ass midget CM Punk at SummerSlam 2012. So I think they've like compensated for that type of booking. But here's a guy who, for whatever, I know we all know what reasons are, is his contract. He rarely shows up to the shows, man, as a WWE champion. Now, I'm not saying he had to show up to every single Raw, every single SmackDown, every pay-per-view, but for goodness sake, man. I mean, this is the road to WrestleMania, and he's been barely on TV since the road to WrestleMania started. He's been on like maybe a couple of times. And you're also dealing with the fact that if you were watching wrestling like over 10 years ago, watching WWE, here is a guy who walked out on them back in 2004, right after WrestleMania. So you had that match with Goldberg, classic match for all the wrong reasons. But people were talking about, he's going to be a professional. He's not like that, blah, blah, blah. This is the same guy who walked out on them over 10 years ago and had that match with Goldberg. This is the same guy who took the NJPW belt with him and never gave it back. Unprofessional my ass. Professional my ass. And here's a guy who reportedly has had a problem with Vince and like contract negotiations recently, had like a shouting match between him and Vince. Things aren't good right now, from what I understand. So what makes you think he's going to do the right thing at WrestleMania against Roman Reigns? He could oversell, he could walk out, he could do a lot. But the bottom line, here's the thing, my problem with this is, last week on Raw, you had Brock and Reigns both in the same arena. And what happens? Nothing. Except Paul cuts his usual redundant like 20-minute promo. You have Brock like jumping around, pyro and all that other crap, goes in the ring, and he stands there like a fucking dumbass. Okay? He stands there smirking like a retard, acting all tough. Where was Roman? Why did he come down to the ring and interrupt him? Not even the backstage segment. No war words, no jaw jacking, no physicality, nothing. Like I said, not even the backstage segment, not even like a few seconds of words. Nothing, man. It's like we got 2 weeks to go, man, and there's nothing going on. I mean, are these people are the people with WWE, Vincent, man? Are they that out of touch or that retarded? What's going on? He got 2 weeks. He better do something, man, because this is supposed to feel like a big ass match, a badass huge match between the two guys. You're not doing anything to make it seem that way. You know what I'm saying? What I would like to do, because from my understanding, is that Brock Lesnar isn't going to show up tomorrow on Raw. So today's Sunday. Tomorrow night is Monday the 16th, I think. Yeah. So he's not advertised to show up in Iowa for Monday Night Raw. So what I would like to do, what I can see, is what they did in 2008 between Floyd Mayweather and the Big Show for WrestleMania 24 and the Go Home show. Those two had like a weigh-in. It felt like a big deal. It was presented on TV like it's such a big deal. And I think it'll be a good idea for these two, Brock and Reigns, to have like a weigh-in for the Go Home show for WrestleMania for next week. I think that'll be a good idea. What they should have done was as a special referee or special guest enforcer for this match. You know, I mean, like what happened in SummerSlam '94 with Chuck Norris, with the Undertaker and Yokozuna. Or, of course, WrestleMania 14 with Mike Tyson added to HBK in Austin. I don't understand why he couldn't do that. I'm sure he had the money to do so. Hell, I mean, I know Chase Oliver has a problem with this guy. I know he hates his guts. But why not bring in Tito Ortiz for this match? I mean, you got a former UFC guy, a badass, kind of. You got Brock Lesnar, a badass. Roman Reigns, up-and-coming badass. I think it will work. It could do that tomorrow. It will seem rushed, but I think if they do that, it'll add more to the match and it will compensate for Brock not showing up tomorrow night, in my opinion. So let's see what else we have here. Just bear with me for 1 second. Okay. Cena and Rusev. We all know where this is going. On one hand, it'll be fresh, have Cena walk out with WrestleMania as United States champion. But at the same time, does he really need to beat Rusev? Here's an up-and-coming star. He's been on the monster role since his debut, basically. You could argue that he's more qualified than Roman Reigns is to challenge Brock Lesnar. But I digress. I have mixed feelings about this match. I mean, it feels like that this has been the best of all the matches they built up so far for the show. This one seems like it has a better build, but on the same time, it doesn't make any sense because last week Cena beat the living hell out of Rusev. He embarrassed him. He made him his bitch. So why would I care to see the match when Cena already put the STF on him twice and made Rusev not only pass out but tap out? He embarrassed him. He bitched him out basically. So why would I care to see this match? And what does Cena have to gain from winning this match? Like I said, yeah, it'll be kind of refreshing to have Cena walk out as United States champion, and he's not in the main event, which is a good thing. But at the same time, you're like, he got his payback. He got his retribution kind of on Raw. He beat the crap out of him. He embarrassed him. So why would I care to see this match? And why would I take Rusev seriously to beat him when he already tapped out? I mean, if you're going to make him tap out, you don't do it on Raw. You do it at WrestleMania. You wait until WrestleMania. You don't do it on a random Raw. I mean, on paper, it looks like an okay match, but I don't know why I'm not caring about it so much. It's just Cena already got his, retribution, which brings me to my next point: Orton versus Rollins. Again, like Cena, Orton got his retribution. He beat the living shit out of Seth Rollins on last Monday night. He made him his bitch. So why would I care to see this match? I mean, there's a potential to be this match, be a match here, but why would I care? Orton already got his revenge. Seth, who has looked like an absolute joke since the Shield split up, I mean, you indie marks, you Seth Rollins, Bryan marks. You could call me. You can make all the excuses you want. You can defend him all you want. He has been made look like an absolute bitch for months now. He has the money in the bank briefcase. Okay, yet not even Edge has been made to look this bad. Not even Edge. I can't remember. I mean, there's been some guys, but people compare him to Edge. Edge was never made to look this bad compared to Rollins. And I've been watching longer than you guys have. Okay, he has never been made to look this bad compared to Rollins. I mean, the match on paper, Rollins and Orton looks good. Two good athletes. Randy Orton, coked up Orton, fuck the world. He's entertaining as a baby face. I mean, as a fan, I'm rooting for Orton over Rollins because Rollins is not entertaining to me. Orton is. Okay? If I had to break a prediction, Orton will go over here. But, why would I want to watch this match? Now, if the briefcase was put online here, if they made it like, the winner gets a briefcase, then, okay, that'll be a little something to add to it. But the slow burn show started right after the Royal Rumble. I mean, for no good reason, Randy Orton has been missing months of action. He's been healthy, kind of. He's been ready to go. But he kept him off TV. And it's like, why should I care? And I know I'm not the only one who feels that way. Okay, next we got the IC Championship, the Intercontinental Championship. Okay. Can someone tell me why in the hell are these guys fighting over that belt? It's like somebody woke up one day and decided to create a storyline or a lack thereof of the IC Championship being hot potato literally without it being involved in the match. I was like, what are you doing? Now, on paper, the match looks good, but at the same time, why are these guys fighting over the belt? And not only that, you have Daniel Bryan, who I am not a big fan of. I like Bryan Danielson, but I am not a big fan of Daniel Bryan. What they've done to him in WWE. It's childish, it's retarded, it's idiotic, it's so cringeworthy, but whatever. The thing is this. You got Daniel Bryan. He main evented WrestleMania last year. Okay? He defeated 3/4 of Evolution in one night to become the undisputed champion. 1 year later, he's now an afterthought, in a random Intercontinental Championship match with several other guys. Think about that for a second. You got Dolph Ziggler, who, again, I am not a big fan of. His name sucks. He's a clown. He has spaghetti hair. He slaps his ass like some queer from Chippendale. I don't know. But you got him, who did win the main event at Survivor Series. He was on Team Cena. He was a sole survivor. And a few months later, he's not doing anything since then. He's now in a throwaway match against multiple guys. And out of everybody involved, the only one who stands out to me is R-Truth. He's been the most entertaining part, the most standout part to me in this whole thing, which doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Which is even worse is that I wouldn't mind if R-Truth came out of WrestleMania as a champion. That's how screwed up this is, man. That's how messed up this thing is, man. But on paper, looks like a good match. But like I said, the build-up's been bad. I mean, why are they fighting? Could somebody explain to me why are these guys in this match to begin with? What? It's like been randomly tossed together. No build-up at all. Whatever. We got next. We got Bray Wyatt versus The Undertaker. Now, it's still a lose-lose situation, in my opinion, for Bray Wyatt. You got a guy here, rising star. has a unique character, good in the mic. It's a lose-lose situation. He's in a tough spot because if he loses to the Undertaker, a 50-year-old zombie, a 50-year-old wannabe zombie who's clearly lost a step, I don't care about those picks. Picks. He's not the same guy as he was. He's gotten older. We all get old. If you lose it to him, that's it. That's it. Can't take him seriously. Can't take Bray Wyatt seriously as a main eventer or a top guy. Can't. I mean, you built this guy up. He lost to Cena, lost to Jericho, and now he's losing to a 50-year-old Taker. That's it. He's done. He's done, basically. He's done. He's done losing to him. But on the other hand, even if he wins, it's like, okay, you beat up a 50-year-old guy, you pinned him, you beat a 50-year-old guy, big deal. And number two, what was the point of Brock Lesnar ending the streak? Why not have Bray Wyatt end the streak last year instead of Brock Lesnar? Now you got Taker losing 2 Manias in a row. It's like, okay. And you're supposed to have Taker versus Sting next year at Jerry's World. You would think that Taker winning will build him up for Sting. Make him look strong for Sting. And Sting obviously beating Triple H will make him look strong for each. And then there you go, for next year. But it's a lose-lose for Bray Wyatt. And the problem is, again, where is Taker? You have not seen Taker at all since WrestleMania. Where is he? He's not been on Raw. And you cannot compare this to 2004 because in 2004, remember, Kane buried The Undertaker alive in Survivor Series 2003, and Taker was planning to get his revenge. He was coming back as a dead man, so he was playing like mind games on Kane for all these weeks until the big blowout at WrestleMania 20. This is not. You cannot compare this to that. You cannot compare WrestleMania 20 to right now. Can't do that. Can't. So yeah, that's been awful. And Sting and Triple H, just like Taker, where is Sting? Again, it's hard to build up these type of matches when your guys, your main selling points of WrestleMania aren't around. Again, Brock Lesnar, not around. Taker, not around. Sting, not around. And for a Sting Triple H match here, again, this is a big-time match. On paper, it's like a big match for WrestleMania. It's a WrestleMania-worthy match here. But what they did on Raw was stupid with that whole voiceover. It sounded like Randy Orton, a 50-year-old Randy Orton, man. 50-year-old Randy Keith Orton. It's just stupid. I mean, you couldn't pay Sting to give an interview or anything like that. Come on, man. Now, if Sting's not going to show up, at least like playing some mind games on Triple H, like, where's the crow? Where's the crow? Or better yet, here's another idea. How about for compensate for Sting not showing up, you have Vince come out tomorrow night on Raw and say that if Sting beats Triple H, then Sting becomes the new COO of WWE. That'll add some spice to this feud, add a little bit of intrigue to the match. The speculation or buzz, about whether or not Sting's going to turn Raw into Nitro as a COO. See what I mean? You hear what I did? I mean, that'll be cool. I mean, it'll be rushed because it's 2 weeks away. But even then, I think it'll add some spice to it, add something to the match for WrestleMania. It'll get me emotionally invested, and quite interested more than I am right now. Because on paper, it's a big-time match. It's not Sting Taker, but it's still a big match, a big WrestleMania-type match. But again, the build-up. Where's the build-up? Where's the build-up? Those are the 4 matches that have interest in me so far. Or actually, okay, Cena Rusev, Rollins Orton, Sting Triple H, the title match, and those 5 matches that I'm focusing on right now. Because the build-up has been absolutely atrocious, lethargic. I mean, this is what the WWE can come up with. It's pathetic. They should be ashamed of themselves for this build-up. It's WrestleMania season. JR is like, for some reason, acting like a damn shill that he is. Talking about, it's not about the build, it's about the show. Well, Look, JR, they call it WrestleMania season for a good reason. There's no season so far. There's like a season. So there's no season. What's the point of having a WrestleMania? If there's no WrestleMania season, what's the point of having a WrestleMania? You know? So, yeah, let's all agree that the build-up has been absolute trash. But, I'll say this. As trash and as lethargic as the build-up has been, there is the potential for this show to be real good. And here's why. You got an IC title match, which, again, random as hell. Makes no sense for these guys to be involved. But I am a sucker for Spot Fest. And you do have some really good wrestlers in this match. Not great wrestlers, but great wrestlers. But you got some good workers in there. You got Bryan, Ziggler, Ambrose. I guess, Harper, Cody, a couple other guys. Our Truth. I mean, But again, the match itself has some good workers, and I'm a sucker for Spot Fest. And the IC title is being featured at a WrestleMania, which is good. So hopefully do something with it afterwards. I'm glad they're doing something with the title for the show, and hopefully they run with it afterwards. You know what I'm saying? So that's one good thing here. Now, Wyatt versus Undertaker. There's a potential for the Undertaker to come back as American Badass, in my opinion. Otherwise, what is the point of him being off Raw if he's not coming back as a different guy? I mean, it'll make some sense for him to come back as more humanized. You know what I'm saying? How about a hybrid of the American Badass and the Dead Man? Because you could say, well, the Dead Man was gone after streak was ended by Brock Lesnar, so he couldn't beat Brock as a Dead Man. So maybe he could beat Wyatt as a badass, the American Badass. I doubt it's going to happen. I doubt that's going to happen, but hey, you never know. Which is kind of intriguing because he's off Raw. He's been off TV. So everybody's going to wait and see how Taker's going to show up. And like I said, it would not surprise me at all if Taker returns as American Badass. And Cena Rusev, like I said, could be an okay match. And Orton Rollins, like I said, on paper is a good match. But the thing that's selling me on this show is Brock versus Roman Reigns. Because with all the speculation on Brock, what's going to happen, I'm curious to know how are they going to build or how are they going to present this match. How is it going to be laid out? Anything could happen. You could have Roman Reigns beating Brock clean. They shake hands, la-di-da, off we go. You could have Brock oversell, pull on HBK at SummerSlam 2005. You could have a Brock walk out. You could have a finger poke of doom. You could have anything here. I'm really curious to know what they're going to do. I don't know what they're going to do here. How this match is going to be played out. How Roman is going to look as far as offense is concerned. I mean, he's been busting out some moves here. He's been busting out a lot of moves recently. So for once, I'm not 100% sure. I'm never 100% sure of anything. But for this match, I'm definitely not sure of how it's going to be played out. People are going to say this or that, whatever, but it's going to be interesting. Heyman referenced a screw job, Montreal screw job, not going to be a screw job. But I'm telling you right now, do not be surprised if there is a screw job ending to this match. Because I think, like I said, which brings me to my next point. WrestleMania 32. You would think that the WWE will put on a great show to get people excited for the next WrestleMania next year, to go to WrestleMania 32. You got these guys watching on the network, going to Santa Clara, watch it live. If their experience wasn't the best, or they think the show sucks, it's more than likely they're not going to watch any other pay-per-view or WrestleMania 32 next year. They're not going to go, they're not going to watch it or whatever. They're not going to order it, buy on the network for $9.99, whatever. So you would think that the WWE would put its best foot forward and put on the best show that he possibly can. Even if it's an odd number WrestleMania, because keep in mind, ever since 2007, the odds number WrestleManias have been absolute shit. 23, 25, 27, 29, all of them been crap. 23, I would rank it as 6 out of 10. I mean, it was a good pay-per-view. It was pretty damn decent. But for a WrestleMania, it was trash. I'm sorry. It was a trash WrestleMania. I'm sorry. 80,000 people, million plus buy rate. I don't care. It was a trash show. It was a trash WrestleMania. It was a good pay-per-view, but a trash WrestleMania. There's a difference between a good pay-per-view and a good WrestleMania. WrestleMania 23 was not a good one. WrestleMania 25, not a good WrestleMania. 27 was probably my worst, probably my top 3 worst Manias of all time. 29, again, kind of similar to 25, a little bit worse than 25. It wasn't good. And 31 is shaping up to be a bad one as well, but they got to promote, they got to get ready for 32, and they need to do something to get people excited for 32. And I think it will start with 31. How they're going to do it, who knows? But as for me personally, I have not ordered a WrestleMania or a WWE pay-per-view since, ironically, WrestleMania 21, big time. In 2005, my last year in college. Mama few. So, yeah. I think, call me an optimist. I'm usually a pessimistic person, but for this show, I don't think it's going to be that bad. I mean, there's a chance it could be awful. You know, there's a chance it could be the worst Mania of all time. There's a chance the main event could absolutely be the worst main event of all time. But I'm not quite convinced it's going to be one of the worst Manias of all time. Because they got some stuff that they got to prepare themselves for next year. And I think the matches with the match quality, the matches are there. And I think the potential for it, the show to be, for the potential of the show to be good, is kind of likely. It could be bad, you know, it could fall flat. But I think the potential is there for it to be a good show. We'll see. Hey, I've been wrong before, but I've been right before. So we'll find out. All right. Next video probably be a WrestleMania 31 review. Probably do that like that Sunday night or Monday morning, whatever. Probably give a short review on that. And all right. So that's it for me. Selection Sundays in a couple minutes, so I might watch that. See what spot the Irish are gonna fit in, and Tar Heels as well. Should be interesting. Sucks that there are no Jersey teams. I don't think there are any Jersey teams. I'm not sure. I haven't paid attention to college basketball that much. The Devils, the New Jersey Devils, they're my hockey team. They're my NHL. They're my favorite team, and they're my favorite professional sports team. So they're not making the playoffs, unfortunately. I was hoping they kind of tank to get McDavid or Echo, but that's kind of unlikely. I mean, they might win the lottery, but odds are kind of slim. So we'll see about that. And that's it for me. Like I said, follow me on Twitter. I'm usually on Twitter more than I'm on YouTube making videos anyway. So follow me there. And that's it. This is the Lone Advocate. And I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.